Hey everyone, Elite Assassin here, and today I want to talk to you guys about BattleBorn. Now, BattleBorn is a hero shooter that was released last May, and unfortunately the exact same window as Overwatch. While Overwatch was released later in May, BattleBorn was released in the beginning, right near the Overwatch open beta. So this game was unfortunately very much overshadowed. Now, this game receives a lot of hate online, and a lot of it is very unwarranted. Mostly from Overwatch fanboys who look at the game and think it's just inferior because, well, it's not Overwatch. And to be honest, Gearbox and 2K really didn't give BattleBorn that much of a chance to succeed to begin with. There was next to no hype created, next to no marketing really done for it. And again, they actually pushed this game back into Overwatch's release window. So I can't quite remember if Overwatch was announced in that time period or not. But regardless, something should have been done about that, because either pushing the game back to add a little bit more content or pushing the game up to avoid that window, because they really did hurt themselves there. Now, I'm not here to give you guys a history lesson about BattleBorn. I want to bring it to your attention because they actually released a pretty significant winter update that changed a lot of the issues I had with the game and added a nice little bunch of slice of life additions to it. And I really think it's worth bringing up, and honestly, with how cheap the game is now, I think it's worth picking up and giving it a try if you haven't already. Now, as I've said, BattleBorn is a hero shooter, but this one, unlike, say, Overwatch and Paladins, which maybe gives us a little more of a Team Fortress vibe, this one gives a little bit more of a MOBA vibe, especially with the mode Incursion. Now, that might strike some people as, I don't want to play it, but I still think it's worth giving a shot. I know a lot of people don't like MOBAs, but it is very similar to that in some of the modes. One thing they have done, though, is they've cleaned up a bunch of the other game modes, which I think is a great thing. Personally, I liked these two other modes more than Incursion, but that's just because when I go to play BattleBorn and I only had a certain amount of time, the other two game modes, Control and Meltdown, go a little bit faster than Incursion does, so it really depends on the amount of time I have and what I'm feeling up to. Overall, I do enjoy all three modes. Don't get me wrong. Now, what they've done with the game mode Meltdown is they've changed it to what they call Meltdown Finale. Before, the idea was you had two lanes of bots that go out, and you're going to try to escort yours into the grinder located on the enemy side, while the enemy wanted to do the same. Now, this used to go up until halfway, in which the grinders would move back a little bit further to the enemy side or your side, depending who reached halfway first. Or actually, whoever reaches halfway, because if you do it first and then eventually your enemy does, they get theirs moved back as well. But once halfway was hit, that would happen, and then once whoever hits 500 points, they'd win. These matches took quite a little bit to complete, so they looked at it and they decided that instead of having a 500 limit, they're going to have a 300 limit. Not only that, they saw that not many teams had a chance to really come back. That if it was a landslide, it stayed a landslide. So they wanted to do something about that. What they've done is they added the finale part. Once a team reaches 300 points, the game doesn't end. It goes into the finale phase, in which super strong Ultra Minions will spawn. And all you have to do is escort one of these Ultra Minions into the second grinders and you win. The team with the highest score will spawn with an Ultra Minion first, and stronger than the other team's Ultra Minions, but only stronger by the amount they won the game. So if you were landsliding the other team and you're just stomping them, well, your Ultra Minion is going to be really strong, probably V6 I think it is. That's the highest I've seen to start with. And if not, it could be just a version 1. It could be really close if the match was like 300 to 295. And basically this is where the comeback is allowed. As time goes on, the Ultra Minions will keep getting stronger and keep coming faster, so it'll be harder and harder to keep up defense. And I haven't seen any giant swings in this, but I have actually seen a match that was really, really close, that my team was winning, but when it came to the Ultra Minion phase, we just couldn't do it. And it was a shame, because we actually were down a person the entire match, and somehow managed to win the first phase and almost won the second phase, but the other team was just too good for us to allow it to happen, so I do like this change, and unfortunately, I said I don't know how it's going to do a drastic momentum shifts. Like if you were losing really bad, then come back to win. I guess in theory and in their testing that was possible, but I haven't seen it yet personally. And honestly, I actually liked Old Meltdown a little bit better, but this one I don't have that much of a problem with. Next up is the control mode, which is a little bit more like domination if you played Call of Duty or any of those kind of style games. And what they've done here is they've tried to change it so that teams really can't just go crazy and overlevel against people. And also so that people can reach the max level before the game ends, because that was a big problem they saw happening. Nobody was reaching level 10. It was just ending too quick. So what they've done is they now make it so that you spawn at level 3. And you also spawn with 500 shards, which are used to build defenses, build healing items, speed boosts, or power up your gear that you bring in. They've also made it so that going for the objective rewards you with more experience. And also they increase the time it takes to capture or neutralize an objective. So going for the objective matters a little bit more, and it's something you can do really quick and get back into action. Since this mode's also meant to be a little more of a brawl type mode, but they still wanted it to feel like it's an objective control type game type. So they reward you by making it something that you can do quicker, something you get rewarded for a little bit more. So that's a really cool thing to see. But those are the game type additions to this update. There are a bunch of other little slice of life updates and a few character balances. I'm not going to get into the character balances one. If you want to look them up, the patch notes will be there for you to look at. But when it comes to the other slice of life updates they did, I really enjoy these as well. Now, back when I played in May, when I bought the game, I only got to level 9. I didn't play that much. I think I had about 20-some matches when I looked at my old recent history. And let me tell you, a bunch of them were snowballed losses. Really, really bad losses. And one of the things I had a hard time with, I think it was a little bit unfair, was, we had the base 5 characters. And at least in my experiences, a lot of matches a week out from the game's launch were more like, hey, I'm level 9, the highest guy on my team is level 15, and the enemy team is a 4 stack of 50 plus people with almost all, if not all, the characters unlocked already. And not saying the character balancing was that bad, but there were some characters who were noticeably better than others. So if you can go into a team like that, you had the 5 base guys, maybe a few others, and they had an entire team of people who were just, not characters that were just better, but they had 1 or 2 characters that were really hard to counter with the characters you had available to you. Now all 25 base BattleBorn are unlocked right from the get-go for you to play as. So that kind of alleviates that a little bit. And another thing that alleviates the just kind of raffle stomp that I used to get, or that sometimes my team would dish out on other people, is that if a teammate quits, which I think in all gaming today is a little bit too much of a common occurrence, the time that you can actually vote for a surrender is sped up a little bit, so you're not stuck there. If you're not having fun and you don't want to get penalized for quitting, and your teammate, like 2 or 3 of your teammates quit out, now you can at least vote to surrender a little bit earlier, so you can not get penalized that bad and just get on with it to a different match. Some other things they've done is they've changed the loot system. They used to have a bunch of different little loot chests you can buy with in-game currency, and they were all different ones, some specialized for different class types, and now it's just one basic loot pack. You can still earn the specialized ones playing through the story mode or the op missions, but now all the other ones are just lumped into one giant loot pack. Also, one thing I wanted to mention about the characters: if you'd already unlocked the characters, you will do via challenges and such, you will just get a special black skin for the character, which look pretty damn cool. So don't fear, they are still going to give you something for unlocking these characters. It's not like you worked for nothing. Another thing that they've done with this game that I think is a pretty big deal is they've added in the daily and main quests, which give you something a little bit more to do, and I think they're pretty fun, and they actually reward you with the bot currency, a few of them, so that's a really cool thing to see. And I always love seeing games give you the option to earn the purchase currency in some way, as long as it's not too ridiculous that nullifies buying that currency, but still reward you a little bit, and that's something I'm all for, so that was really cool to see. Also, on the consoles, it now gives you the option to basically unlock the frame rates and how you want to play. You can play at 1080-30, which it was originally done, or 1080-60 now, so that's really cool to see and something that I definitely didn't expect. Now, one last thing before I finish up about the character select that I actually missed. Now that all 25 BattleBorn are unlocked, they've also changed the character select screen. And this is really, really huge because before, once you picked a character, you were locked into that character and you really couldn't back out. So it led to a lot of odd character select before matches, like standstills. I know me personally, I love playing Orendi, but I'm the kind of person in Overwatch and any game I play, Paladins, who plays the fill role. I'll play what needs to be played so our team has decent comp. As long as I feel competent in that class, I will try my best. And that's how I play this game. And it got frustrating sometimes when people would either pick really imbalanced comps, which I think every hero shooter MOBA has that problem. Or if I picked a character I really wanted to play and work on their lore challenges, but our team picked a bad comp and there's nothing I can do about it once it's locked in. Now, on the character select screen that they've changed, you now see what role the characters fit into, whether they're attack, tank, or like support, which I think is really cool and makes people understand what they do a little better. Not only that, but you can see who your team and the enemy team picks, which is kind of neat, so you can counterpick each other a little bit. They also allow you to back out of a character choice if you want to, so that's good. You can make the change if your team has a bad comp and you want to switch it up, you can do that now. Also, they have added the ability to be multiple of the same character, which wasn't allowed previously, which is pretty cool and a little bit annoying, because now that Beatrix just came out, I'm getting teams of 2 Beatrixes versus teams of 2 Beatrixes, and it's like, what the hell? That's all I'm seeing, but these are really cool little things that make the game a little more fun to play, in my opinion. And also on top of that, I forgot to mention the new draft mode. Now, if you're familiar with some pro games, I know Pro Call of Duty had this, I believe the Pro MOBAs do, where they have bans and drafts for the character select, and that's what they've added to BattleBorn. So now in the draft mode, you can go in and there's 2 different draft modes you could choose from. One's there for public matchmaking, the ones are more private matchmaking type things. And basically, you could vote to ban certain characters and then select characters, and it's just a pretty neat new way to play the game. Alright guys, those are all the winter update things that I really wanted to cover. I hope that I've piqued your interest in this game a little bit, because I really do think it's worth going back and giving it a try. Like I said, if you haven't tried it, you can get it really cheap now. I believe new, it's about 20 to 15 bucks, used between 15 and 10. So it's really a steal if you want to give this game a try. It's not like you're going to have to invest the $60 whole into it. So, if you're looking for a different kind of shooter to play, if you like a little bit more of a MOBA style gameplay, if you like some crazy characters with a bunch of really, I think, good humor, not everyone might agree, but humor is something that I don't think many people always agree on, but I think it's pretty funny, then this might be a game you want to try out. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.